Hi friends, good morning to all of you. I hope all of you are fine. And up to this point, each and every point should be clear. Now we will start the yesterday class. We already started Pascal's law and about pressure. And now we will start Pascal's law and its derivation. After that, types of pressure. Because students have a lot of confusion. What is atmospheric pressure, vacuum pressure, positive gauge pressure, negative gauge pressure? That we will discuss by and by. Yesterday. Or you can write one more statement point according to the Pascal's law. The pressure at a point, the pressure at a point in a static fluid, in a static fluid is equal in all directions in space. In all directions in space. In all direction in space. Okay, what do you mean by fluid is at rest? If fluid is at rest, what does it mean? Velocity is zero. No shear stress. Velocity zero static fluid. Okay, I am giving you one example. Tell me, is it static or not? Suppose I have a fluid and that fluid is in a car and that car is moving 10 meters per second. Then is this fluid is at rest or not? Yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. The fluid will be at rest when there is a no displacement or when there is a no relative velocity between two layers. Then that fluid is known as static condition. A fluid is at rest when there is no motion or there is no relative motion between two layers of the fluid. Write down this point. That does not mean that fluid is at rest. A fluid is said to be rest. A fluid is said to be rest. A fluid is said to be at rest if there is no relative motion. If there is no relative motion between adjacent layers. between adjacent layers. Fluid in a stationary container. Fluid in a stationary container or at constant velocity. Or at constant velocity. Or at constant acceleration. Or at constant acceleration. Are in a state of rest. Are in a state of rest. And about pressure, I have already told you that it is compressive force in nature. So we can write the pressure at a point. The pressure at a point in a fluid is defined as the intensity of compressive force intensity of compressive force या the normal compressive force per unit area at that point. Now we will derive Pascal's law. Assume it is delta x. Assume these axes as z and x. So it will be delta z. And assume delta y is equal to this direction we assume. We know that gravity will act in this direction. Forces acting on a wedge shaped fluid element in equilibrium. In equilibrium. Assume this angle is theta. And that delta y invert the page. Draw this diagram. considering a small wedge-shaped fluid element of unit length delta y is equal to 1 into the page in equilibrium as shown in above figure. As shown in above figure, the mean pressures at the three surfaces, the mean pressure at the three surfaces, assume P1, P2 and P3. P1, P2 and P3, and we know that the force acting on a surface, the force acting on a surface is the product of, we know that pressure is equal to force per unit area. So force is equal to pressure into area. Product of the mean pressure and the surface area. In this direction, pressure force. In this direction, pressure force. And it will be in perpendicular in this direction, the pressure force. Is it clear? So pressure force is, if I have this mobile and if it is x, or if it is x, it is y, and this thickness is z, then this side, this force will be this pressure into area of this rectangle type. If we are going to consider in x direction, then this area, perpendicular area, will be delta y into delta z. In similar manner, if it is x, and any force coming in this direction in x, then you will take area delta y delta z. If in y direction, you will take area delta x delta z, and if in z direction, then you will take normal area, that is delta x delta y. So here P1, this quantity will be P1 into delta y delta z. In similar manner here, P2 delta x delta y. P2 into delta x delta y. And this one is P3 delta y into L, if you assume it L. Delta y is 0. Now we need to, delta y is already assume 1. It is in static condition. If it is in static condition, then all the forces, or we can say the net forces, should be 0. If there is any force, then there will be some motion in this element. So at equilibrium, we need to balance all the forces. Okay, balance all the forces. First, balance in x direction. So f of x is equal to m into ax is equal to 0. Assume this direction is positive, then this direction is negative. This direction is positive and this is negative. Then P1 in delta y delta z minus P3 component in this direction, because we have P3 like this, then we will get one component in this direction and one component in this direction. Tell me this component and this component. This component you will get P3 into delta L, no, delta Y, L into sine theta is equal to 0 from the trigonometry. In similar manner, del summation of f of, we assume z direction. F of z is equal to m into a of z is equal to 0. In upward direction, that is P2 into delta y delta x minus P3 into delta y L cos theta minus 1 by rho, sorry, 1 by 2 1 by 2 rho into g delta x delta y delta z is equal to 0, where rho is the density of the, where rho is the density, and we know that W is equal to m into j, g mass is equal to volume into density, so that is rho into g delta x delta y delta z divided by 2 is the weight of the fluid element, is the weight of the fluid element. And we know that we assume this wedge element which is in the form of a right angle triangle. So you can also write the value of delta x. Tell me the value of delta x and delta y in terms of L and sine theta and cos theta. What will be the value of delta x? Now one question in your mind, sir, why you divide by 2? So why do we divide it by 2? Why do we divide by 2? Any one of you? Just try to think here. And tell me the value of delta x and delta y in terms of L from right angle triangle. Tell me. Sir, at present time we are in sleepy mode. Very good. Delta x is equal to L cos sine theta. And delta y is equal to delta L is equal to L cos theta. And I assume x and z. And delta z is equal to L sine theta. Substituting all these values and divided by delta x and delta z, you will get P1 minus P3 is equal to 0. And P2 minus P3 minus 1 by 2 rho g into delta z is equal to 0. The last term in the above equation, the last term in the above equation drops out as delta z tends to 0 and the wage becomes infinitesimal. And the fluid element shrinks to a point. After combining the above relations, you will get P1 is equal to P3 is equal to P is equal to P. This is your Pascal's law. I have some other methods to derive it, but I assume it is a simple method, so we use this one. So now we can conclude the pressure at a point in a fluid has the same magnitude in all directions. In all directions. And this result is applicable. This result is applicable to fluid in motion as well as fluids at rest, because pressure is not a vector quantity, it is a scalar quantity. Ah, very good. Because area of the triangle is 1 by 2 LBH. Very nice. All these are very basic concepts that you should know. Is it clear? Now you mucked up that, sir, P is equal to rho GH. But in which manner did you get this P is equal to rho GH? Who told you P is equal to rho GH? Sir, we mucked up that if we have a point, sir, here P naught, and if we want to calculate pressure, that P is equal to P naught plus rho GH. But in which manner you defined it? That P is equal to P naught plus rho GH. Now we will derive it. Variation of pressure with depth. 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 If you will study properly, then you need to study only one time. And if you will not study properly, then you need to study 4 or 5 times. Draw this diagram. We know that the value of fluid pressure is same at the same horizontal line. If suppose we have this line, and at this point, at every point pressure will be same. Let's draw this diagram. The pressure of fluid, the pressure of a fluid at rest increases its depth. increases with depth. Can you tell me why? If you are going in downward direction, then the pressure is going to increase, everyone knows. But why? Any one of you just try to think. Very nice, Rohit. Buoyancy acting upward. What is the significance of buoyancy here? Very nice. The weight of the liquid above it. Very good. Sir, because simple, because increase in height of water above my head. No. Very good. Additional gravitational act strongly. The weight of the individual substance. Very good, Somoprova. Because the successive layers of the fluid cast its weight on the bottom layer. We know that the value of pressure is same in horizontal direction, but not in vertical direction. Right now. Next one. Pressure in a fluid, but it is applicable only and only at rest condition. Because if I have 2 points, this is 1 point and this is 2 point. In rest condition, at both the points, pressure are same. That's why it is in rest. But if there is a pressure difference, then there will be a flow. And in that case, this will not be a part of fluid statics. In that case, this will be a part of fluid dynamics or kinematics. Because if there is pressure, there is force, there is acceleration, and there is velocity. So pressure in a fluid at rest, pressure in a fluid at rest does not change in the horizontal direction, does not change in the horizontal direction, does not change in the horizontal direction. But this is not the case. But this is not the case in the vertical direction. In the vertical direction, in gravitational field. In gravitational field, we know that next one, pressure in a fluid. Pressure in a fluid. Pressure in a fluid increases with depth. Pressure in a fluid increases with depth because more fluid rest on deeper layers, and this effect of this extra weight and the effect of this extra weight on a deeper layer is balanced by an increase in pressure. Just try to think with the help of this example. Suppose you want to calculate pressure at this point, then there is no layer above that, only air layer. So that is P naught. If you want to calculate at this point, Then above this point, you need to consider the weight of this one. On this point, additional weight of this one. At this point, the additional weight of these two. At this point, the additional weight of these three. At this point, the additional weight of these layers. In similar manner, at this point, the additional layers of all these points. Or I can give you one more example, very simple example, just like this. Suppose I have these 4 books. Is it clear? Then pressure at this lowest one is more as compared to this, and the lowest pressure is at this one. Then below first one, at second one, the pressure is more because it will consider the weight of the first one, and the at the third copy, it will have more pressure as compared to the above two because it will take the weight of second one also. The lowest one at this point, lowest one, the pressure will be more because it will consider the weight of these 3 layers above it. Is it clear? I hope it should be clear to each and every. That's why as you are going in this direction, pressure is going to increase. Pressure is going to increase due to the additional weight of layers. Is it clear to you? Very good. Nice exercise. Just to make you clear on nothing. Is it clear? Very good. So the pressure at fluid increases with depth because more fluid at rest on the deeper layer, and the effect of this extra weight is balanced by an increase in the pressure. Write down next point. Now we will make a free body diagram of the rectangular element. You mark down P is equal to A rho GH. Again, this is Z direction and this is X direction. Assume it is Z1, it is Z2, and this direction is G. Again, pressure always, normal and compressive force. Assume in this direction we have P1, and in this direction we have P2, and from this direction we have this. With the help of mathematics also we know that both these components will balance each other. So that's why in horizontal direction the pressure will be same, but in vertical direction not so. First draw this diagram. Assume this one is delta X, and this one is delta Z. This diagram represents free body diagram of a rectangular fluid element in equilibrium. Fluid element in equilibrium. All these are basics as well as fundamentals. Again, we assumed a unit depth that is inside the paper or inside my screen. Delta y is equal to 1. So write down Consider a rectangular fluid element. Consider a rectangular fluid element of height delta z, length delta x, and unit depth delta y is equal to 1 into the page in equilibrium. Into the page in equilibrium. Now again, assume density rho. Assuming the density of the fluid is rho, rho to be constant. Now again we will make force balance. So a force balance in vertical z direction. In vertical z direction. Again the net acceleration will be 0 because it is at static condition. Summation of f of z is equal to m into az again is equal to this force and this force, and this will be balanced by the gravity, the difference. So we will write E1 into delta x. This direction we are going to take positive, this direction negative. E1 into delta x, delta y minus E2, delta x delta y minus rho into g into delta x delta y into delta z, and that's equal to 0. Again, where you know that W is equal to m into g, mass is equal to density into volume into g, and you know that what is delta z is equal to z2 minus z1. Divide both sides by delta x delta y, so you will get P1 minus P2 minus rho into g into delta z is equal to 0. We know that delta P is equal to P2 minus P1. So you will get delta P is equal to P2 minus P1 is equal to minus of rho into g delta z. Or we can also write minus gamma of s into delta z. Because rho into g is specific gravity. I hope up to this point, simple force balance or nothing. Where gamma of s is equal to rho g is the specific weight of the fluid. So from this point, we can conclude that the pressure difference between 2 points, the pressure difference between 2 points in a constant density fluid, is directly proportional to the is directly proportional to the vertical distance delta z, vertical distance delta z between the points and the density of the fluid. Or we can say this relation is a linear relation. And the negative sign indicates here. The negative sign indicates here. Sir, vertically upward, okay. Write down the negative sign. The negative sign. The pressure in a static fluid increases linearly with depth. And you can experience this thing when any diver that is at the bottom of a lake or bottom of a sea, as diver will go in downward direction, the pressure will automatically, with the pressure value is increased. Now we can write an easier equation to remember under hydrostatic condition and apply between 2 points. P below is equal to P above plus rho into G into delta Z modulus, or P above is plus gamma S into delta of Z. That's why you mugged up that at any point below, P1 is equal to P naught plus rho GH or rho GZ, where below means, or below refers to the point at lower elevation. Point at lower elevation, or we can say deeper in the fluid. And above refers to the point at higher elevation. To the point at higher elevation. And if you will use this equation, then there is no tension of negative positive. Add down one more point. We can also conclude one more thing from the above equation. From this equation, can you say something for gases? For small to moderate distances, for small to moderate distances, for small to moderate distances, the variation of pressure, with height is negligible, for gases. Why? Because of their low density. That's why you always use this formula for liquid only, because of their low density. Next point. This vertical distance delta Z is also known as which head? It also known as the pressure head for a given fluid. For a given fluid. Otherwise, then you will mug up in Bernoulli, sir, delta P is equal to rho GH, mgh. We will divide by rho G and we will get delta Z, that is pressure head. But this is due to this region. For a given fluid, the vertical distance, the vertical distance, the vertical distance delta Z is sometimes used as a measure of pressure, sometimes used as a measure of pressure, and it is called pressure head. It is called pressure head. Next point. So if someone will ask why the pressure remains same in a container if it is filled with a gas, then you can give this example for this region. If we take the free surface, or if we take the above point to be at the free surface, to be at the free surface of a liquid open to the atmosphere, open to the atmosphere, where the pressure is atmospheric pressure, where the pressure is atmospheric pressure, where the pressure is atmospheric pressure, PATM. Then the pressure, at a depth h below from the free surface, below from the free surface, apply that above formula, put the value that P is equal to P atmospheric plus rho g h. The formula you mugged up, you will get in such a manner. Feeling happy? Sir, we know the things, but we don't know the origin. Sometimes the origin is also important. One more thing, we assume that liquids, I already told you, at the time of density, liquids are generally incompressible in nature. So we assume that the variation of density with height is nearly negligible. And if sometime, then we will use other equation. Is it clear up to this point? Homoprova, but at the, if we have different shape also, but at the same height, pressure will same. Second, that is a different law that you are going to discuss. We are going to discuss generally. 211776, if I did like that, that is x-axis and that one is z-axis. Very good. Sir, go teach at every point. Okay, keep learning. Write down next point. Liquids are essentially liquids are essentially incompressible substances. Incompressible substances, and thus the variation of density with depth is negligible. What happened? Sir, for gases, the variation of pressure is altitude found in which manner? Okay. Just I told you that for gases, it is not constant. Just read each and every clearly line. If you will take the very small height, I discussed about that. But with altitude, pressure will change. And second, tell me, there is one equation. With the help of that equation, you will get the variation of atmospheric pressure. That is known as barometric equation. And that barometric equation we will discuss at the time of fluid statics. Don't worry. That P is equal to P naught e to the power minus Gm by RT Z2 minus Z1. Have a patience, you will get each and everything. Write down next one. This is also the case. This is also the case for gases when the elevation change, is not very large. And we also know that the variation in density with temperature and pressure, but we assume nearly constant. That is also assumption. The variation of density, I already told you the variation of density with temperature and pressure. The variation of density of liquids or gases, or liquids of gases with temperature can be significant, and may need to be considered, to get more accuracy. Now next point. For fluids whose density changes significantly with elevation, then a relation for the variation and the relation for the variation of pressure with elevation can be given as we have already derived this equation. Delta P is equal to minus of gamma S delta Z. Can you write like this? In taking if delta z tends to 0, then dp by dz is equal to minus of rho into g. dp by dz is equal to minus of rho into g. And note one more point, that the value of dp is negative and dz is positive. That's why it is negative. Since pressure decreases in upward direction. Since pressure decreases in upward direction, when the variation of density with elevation is known, then the pressure difference between any 2 points one and 2 can be given as delta P is equal to P2 minus P1, 1 to 2 rho into G into dz. One more point, one student asked, sir, in different containers, the pressure will be different. So it is your misconception, and remove that misconception immediately. Pressure in a fluid at rest is independent of the, based on this concept, they asked one question of 1 marks in GATE 2007, is independent of pressure in a fluid at rest is independent of the shape or cross section of the container. It changes in the vertical direction. But remains constant in horizontal direction, or in other direction means horizontal direction. Therefore, the pressure is the same. At all the points on a horizontal plane in a given fluid. I hope up to this point, each and everything about the pressure is clear. And all these things you should know from your 11th class. Is it clear? Very good. Now, next thing is that the number of questions that we have discussed up to this point. The number of questions that we have discussed, I hope nearly 10 questions we have discussed so far. 16 question. Okay, very good. Again, we will solve more than 100 questions in this subject. And those 100 problems are sufficient to get full marks in this subject. Question number 17, GATE 2008, 1 mark. Write down 3 containers. 3 containers are filled with water. Are filled with water up to the same height. Up to the same height as shown in figure. The pressures at the bottom. The pressures at the bottom of the 3 containers. Of the 3 containers are denoted as P1, P2, and P3. Then which one of the following? Which one of the following relationship is true? Which one of the following relationship is true? P1, P2, and P3. First option, P3 greater than P1, greater than P2. P2 greater than P1, greater than P3. P1 greater than P2 is equal to P3. And fourth one is P1 is equal to P2 is equal to P3. 1 marks, 3 marks if you know the concept. The right answer of this question is because they directly asked from this statement. The pressure in a fluid at rest is independent of the shape of or cross section of a container. It changes in vertical direction but remain constant in other direction. So the right answer will be Jagdish. How is it possible that second answer? For same height, the pressure will be same. Very good. The right answer is fourth one. 1 marks, easy and 3 marks. Your first step to get good rank is that you need to solve all the easy question in the exam. Because cutoff is nothing. Cutoff is the number of easy questions present in the exam. Next question. GATE 2013. Again 1 mark. An open tank contains two immiscible liquids of densities 800 kg per meter cube and 1000 kg per meter cube respectively. If G is equal to 10 meter per second square under static conditions, the Gauss pressure is the pressure with respect to the atmospheric pressure. The Gauss pressure at the bottom of the tank is in Pascal is, this is the given diagram. Here we have density 1000 kg per meter cube. Here we have 800 kg per meter cube. Assume it is 1 meter and it is 2 meter. And options we have 23,000, 22,000, 24,000 and 26,000. Again 1 mark CC marks. Actually the pressure you are getting, this pressure is with respect to the atmospheric pressure, automatically gauge pressure. Just after some time I will tell you what is gauge pressure and all these. Absolutely pressure, vacuum pressure. The right answer of this question is very good. 26 kilopascal is the correct answer. Very nice. Maintain your momentum. Suppose you want to calculate the pressure at this point. Then the pressure due to this one and the pressure due to this one. So P is equal to rho 1 G H1 plus rho 2 G H2. Then P is equal to 800 into 10 into 2, 1000 into 10 into 1. So that is P is equal to 26,000 Pascal. And automatically, because it is open container, so the pressure, whatever pressure you are getting, that is with respect to the atmospheric pressure. So that's why it is a Gauss pressure. Done. Sheldon, we are not neglecting the atmospheric pressure. Actually, the pressure, this pressure is automatically with respect to the atmospheric pressure. This is P minus P ATM that you are getting because it is an open container. Is it clear? Use your mind. Write down next concept. In GATE 2020 also, they asked a question 20 or 19 from hydraulic jet. Next, a small part. Draw this diagram. So this is your brand new BMW car. It is at 1, it is at 2. This one is A1, pressure P1. This one is A2, P2. Then here pressure will be, force will be P1, A1 is equal to F. And here P2, A2. And we have any fluid. Again, it is the application of pressure. Draw this diagram. What do you mean by ideal mechanical advantage in such type of cases? Or of the hydraulic lift. It is an example of hydraulic lift. I asked a very simple question. In future, they can ask question like this. Then they will give the value of ideal mechanical advantage. So what do you mean by the mechanical advantage? Ideal mechanical advantage of hydraulic lift. Any one of you? In future, they will ask 100% because from this concept, they ask 2 questions in GATE. The difference in forces, no. But sir, we are very intelligent person. We know everything. Sir, with small forces can lift more weight. Udita Anshur Ranjan, very nice. Very good. Only one student gave right answer. Write down next one. Sometimes this is also known as Pascal machine because it is an example of Pascal machine in case of hydraulic. So again, we know that P1 is equal to P2. since both the pistons are at the same level. Since both the pistons are at the same level, and you need to remember one more thing, the effect of small height differences is negligible, especially at higher pressure. So we can write E1 is equal to P F1 by A1 is equal to F2 by A2, or you can write F1 by F2 is equal to A1 by A2, or F2 by F1 is equal to A2 by A1. And the area ratio A2 by A1 is called the ideal mechanical advantage ideal mechanical advantage of the hydraulic lift. Of the hydraulic lift. All these are small, but you will get in exam then big things. And I am 100% sure that in future they will ask question like this. And students will confuse at the place of A1 and A2. They will provide you the value of mechanical advantage. Write down one more question. Just give me 1 minute to find the question. Write down next question. Question number 19. Gate 2019. What a coincidence. Again, 1 month. For a hydraulic lift, with dimensions as shown in figure, assuming G is equal to 10 meter per second square, the maximum diameter D left in meter that lifts a vehicle of mass 1000 kg using a force of 100 Newton is fill in the blanks. The given diagram is 100 Newton. And this is D left. Gravity is in this direction. And this is here diameter is equal to 2 meters. Again, a very easy question. Tell me the right answer. Put the value in formula and you will get the answers. Very good. 0.2 meters. Only one student, Anmol. Why not others? Then again you need to apply. P1 is equal to P2. F1 by A1 is equal to F2 by A2. Calculate all these values. The value of F1 is equal to 100 Newton. And the value of F2 M into G. M into G. N is to R 4 Newton. Because G is given in the question 10 meter per second square. A1 is equal to pi by 4 D of left square. And A2 is equal to pi into D square by 4. But pi into 4 into 2 square. 4 pi by pi. Sorry, 4 pi by 4. You will get only pi. Put all these values. F1 by A1 D left square is equal to 10 is to R 4 divided by pi. The value of pi and pi will cancel out. 400 divided by D left square divided by 1. P left square is equal to 4 by 100. Or you will get D left is equal to 2 by 10. 0.2 meter is the correct answer. Again, 1 marks, easy marks if you know the concept. Note down. Is there any rocket science? I hope every one of you got it. Very nice. I have only one request. If you want to learn, then I gave you specific time. Please at least attempt each and every question. Maybe you will get the wrong answer. Arre, that is the limit. But if you will solve that, one day you will get the right answer. And if I will give you a question and then you will sit like that, then लिख के ले लो. You will never learn. I can write in written, then you can never learn. So please attempt. You will get wrong answer one time, two time, 10 time, 20 time, 40 time, 50 time, because it is the life chance which I am going to give you just to clear your all the concepts. At least after 50 times you will get right answer. But if you will not try, you will not. Is it clear? Write down next. Again, one confusing thing. Different types of pressure. Different types of pressure. Different types of pressure. That what is atmospheric pressure, what is absolute pressure, what is gauge pressure, all these points. First draw diagram, then we will. Draw this diagram. Now this is absolute vacuum, this line. Absolute vacuum. Or here we can say P absolute is equal to 0. This line represents absolute vacuum. This pressure is known as absolute pressure. And this pressure is P vacuum. This is P ATM. And this line represents atmospheric pressure. Then above the atmospheric pressure, we have gauge pressure. Both are same gauge or gauge pressure. And again, this one is absolute pressure. And again, this one is also PATM. Draw this diagram. And in this diagram, we have three pressures, absolute, gauge, and vacuum. The vacuum is below the atmospheric pressure and gauge above the atmospheric. And absolute, atmospheric plus gauge. Did you draw it? For Sheldon, I believe in one-time investment. Study one time in a proper manner because both are different things. To cover syllabus is a different thing, and to finish syllabus is a different thing. I can finish the same syllabus in 20-30 hours also. But then again, you need some extra efforts to cover your syllabus. And if you are in the flow with the class, then there is no need of extra. This class, all these classes are much, much more than sufficient for your interview as well as for your GATE exam or for any exam related to technical. So write down first atmospheric pressure. Atmospheric pressure. The pressure exerted by the atmospheric air. The pressure exerted by atmospheric air normally upon all surfaces with which it is in contact. It is in contact is known as atmospheric pressure. Is known as atmospheric pressure. Second one is absolute pressure. Absolute pressure the actual pressure. The actual pressure at a given position at a given position is called at a given position is called the absolute pressure is called the absolute pressure. and it is measured relative to absolute vacuum. Absolute vacuum, or we can say absolute zero. You can analyze from this diagram, it is absolute with respect to the absolute vacuum. P absolute with respect to the absolute vacuum. Third one is Gauss pressure. The pressure measured, above or below, the pressure measured above or below the atmospheric pressure, above or below the atmospheric pressure is known as gauge pressure. It may be positive, zero, or negative. Known as Gauss pressure. Thus, Gauss pressure can be negative, can be negative or positive. When it is below atmospheric, negative, above atmospheric, positive. Again, you can analyze from the above diagram. If we have below atmospheric pressure, then positive gauge, and above atmospheric pressure, positive gauge. And there is one specific name, that is vacuum pressure. You can add in this line only, but pressures below, atmospheric pressure, the pressure below atmospheric pressure are sometimes called vacuum pressures, and are measured by vacuum gauges that indicate the difference between the atmospheric pressure and absolute pressure. The atmospheric pressure and absolute pressure. Now we can write their mathematical equation also from the above diagram. P gauge is equal to P absolute minus P ATM. Or you can write P absolute is equal to P gauge plus plus P atmospheric. Again, you can analyze from the above diagram. This P absolute is equal to P gauge plus P ATM, or P gauge is equal to P absolute minus P atmospheric. Next, about the vacuum, you can write P vacuum is equal to P atmospheric minus P absolute. P atmospheric minus P absolute. Is it clear? It is all about the pressure. Sir, how is it possible that in 2 hours we just studied about the pressure, but now each and everything should be crystal clear to you? That what is the real meaning of pressure? What is Pascal's law, application, hydraulic jet, the variation of pressure in vertical direction, in horizontal direction, everything. Is it clear? Sir, there are two absolute. How, sir? Array absolute is just with respect to the, we can have infinite absolute. Absolute is just with respect to the vacuum pressure, or P absolute is 0. You can draw some more lines. So that's why I draw 2. Is it clear? Very good. In vacuum, there is no atmospheric. That's why P absolute is 0. Very good. Write down next question. Question number 20. A vacuum gauge is connected to a chamber, reads 40 kilopascal at a location where the atmospheric pressure is 100 kilopascal. Determine the absolute pressure in the chamber. Tell me. This question is just to make you happy or nothing. The right answer of this question is Srini. How is it possible 140 kilopascal? Kuhiga, how is it possible 140 kilopascal? कहाँ से आते हो आप लोग? Sir, I have written after that 60 kilopascal. Okay, 60 kilopascal is the correct answer. We know that P absolute is equal to P atmospheric minus P vacuum. That is 100 minus 40. That is 60 kilopascal. Sir, what is positive and negative gauge pressure? If you have pressure above the atmospheric pressure, positive gauge pressure, below the atmospheric pressure, negative gauge pressure. Pranav, this is the concept of positive and negative gauge pressure. Write down next. What do you mean by pressure head? The vertical height of the free surface above any point in a liquid at rest is known as pressure head for that point. We mucked up P is equal to rho gh. We can also write like this. H is equal to P by rho g, or P is equal to gamma s specific gravity, specific density. So this is the pressure head. One more point. The relationship between the heights of the columns or height of columns of different liquids which would develop the same pressure at any point. The same pressure at any point at P is equal to gamma 1 H1 is equal to gamma 2 H2. And if S1 and S2 are specific gravities of the two liquids, Then we have S1 H1 is equal to H2 S2 S2. This was minus infinity to plus infinity about pressure. Write down next heading and left. That is pressure measurement devices. Pressure measurement devices. Pressure measurement devices. Types of devices. Barometer, manometer, and mechanical gauges. I hope you enjoyed this session also. Now the next battle will start from tomorrow. At manometer, in manometer we have two types: simple manometers, differential manometers. In manometer again we have three: piezometer, YouTube manometer, single column manometer. Then in differential again we have two. One is in differential manometer and inverted YouTube differential manometer. And in mechanical gauges, so we need to discuss only YouTube manometer, YouTube differential manometer, to give you knowledge about the basic one, piezometer, and inclined one. Is it clear? Thank you, sir. Crystal clear. Good day. Same here. It is just my only. Okay. Is it clear? I hope you enjoyed this session also. As per I promised, if you don't know even F of the fluid mechanics, then after the completion, you will get each and everything. I hope in next two classes, we will cover the pressure measuring devices. Then after that, we will start some more basics. And then we will start the fluid statics with the hydrostatic law. Thanks for your so much support, because for engineers, it is not easy to wake up at 6:45. And if you are doing that, I am extremely happy for that. And thanks to all. Keep learning, keep smiling, be happy, have a nice day. And you have a very less time. You have only less than 3 months. Please utilize your each and every second of the time, because in this age you have an infinite amount of energy. Every day I am taking 11 to 12 hour live classes from 6:45 to 10:30 night, with only 1 or 2 hour gap. So you can also do, and you have an infinite amount of energy. Please read, revise as much as you can. If you will not revise, then everything will be zero. Is it clear? Thank you very much.